Well, to give us insight on the negotiations behind this swap, Holly Jensen, former State Department and FBI official. She also worked on the Paul Whelan case under the Trump administration. Ms. Jensen, thank you so much for being with us. Take us behind the scenes of these negotiations. We know they've been ongoing for months. Why do you think a deal was suddenly struck now?
Well, it's the best interest of the U.S. government. You know, every administration's number one priority is to bring back American citizens that are jailed or held hostage overseas wrongfully. So it is no surprise that the Biden administration would enter into these negotiations. I think it's actually a really great thing. This shows that we do have some diplomatic outreach to Russia, and we can agree on one thing, and that is the release of an American citizen, Brittney Griner, and she is now on her way home, and it's making her family complete. So it is no shock, no surprise. These negotiations happen every single day of every single week of every single year in every single administration.
Well, and you certainly know, because as we mentioned at the top, you worked on the Paul Whelan negotiations under the last administration. Are those talks different from the negotiations that ultimately secured Griner's release?
I don't believe so. You know, the Trump administration did one thing that the Obama administration hadn't. And President Trump really changed the focus of hostage versus prisoner swap negotiations. Before, in the Obama administration in 2015, when they did the hostage policy review, they were very clear about the difference between a hostage and a prisoner. What President Trump did was really kind of blur those lines and make it so that all negotiations were sort of handled the exact same way. And it's no surprise that President Biden entered into this. I mean, he was part of he was the vice president under President Obama. So you knew that these negotiations were incredibly important to him. And they're important to every president.
Absolutely. Holly, before we let you go, do you think Paul Whelan will ultimately be released?
That is my hope. And I can tell you from sitting in these meetings from 2018 to 2020, Paul Whelan was a topic of discussion every single day. Every American who is held overseas is always on the top of the list of negotiations with our foreign minister, so Sergei Lavrov, and any of our partner nations around the world. So I understand that Paul is disappointed today, but the Whelan family is very aggressive in making sure that the administration remembers his name every single day, remembers that he is being held unlawfully in a Russian prison, and make sure that they hold this administration accountable to bringing Paul home. So I am incredibly hopeful. I don't want them to give up hope because at this point, that's all they have.
Absolutely. All right, Holly Jensen, thank you so much for your time. All right, we head now to... Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.